We're at a really interesting point to examine Americans' views on social issues more broadly. We know from polling that's been done over time that Americans have gotten a little bit more liberal on social issues in most recent years. I think shifting views on marriage equality and LGBTQ rights are a great example of that. And now with everything going on with the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests and protests around racial injustice, I think that will be the next question that we as researchers begin to look at, is how have Americans' views on race and policing shifted over time? Looking at this poll, we see that all Americans generally, there's not really much of a difference between your ideology on social issues and your ideology on economic issues. Frankly, I think for most people, if you are a self-ascribed liberal, then you tend to feel that way across the board. If you're a self-ascribed conservative, same thing. It's sort of who you're taking your cues from and what sort of tribe or partisan affiliation you consider yourself to be. Now, it is interesting when you look at these results by party ID, Democrats are slightly more likely to say that they are liberal on social issues than economic issues. Well, I think we have seen a shift in attitudes on a number of social issues in recent years. Over time, since Roe v. Wade was enacted, we know that more people have moved to be pro-abortion rights or pro-choice. More recently, we've seen a big shift in Americans' views on marriage equality and LGBTQ rights. So we do have kind of a fairly rapid evolution of people's views on so-called social issues, much more than you might have on, say, your views on the economy or economic issues. But it's interesting to me because as Americans continue to evolve on social issues and to move to be a little bit more center-left on things like LGBTQ rights, for example, I think now in this current climate, where we need to start to shift our focus is to examining just how Americans' views on racial injustice, on police brutality, police reform, things like that, have changed. And if these current protests, if these movements are going to be a catalyst for a change in Americans' views on that particular social issue.